So my name is Cecil Burrowes. I'm a business segment manager, senior vice president with Wells Fargo in the consumer credit division. A life lesson that I heard was from a mentor of mine who I had approached around some challenges that I was experiencing and some barriers to entry that I had with some lines of business and some things I wanted to do to progress. And the feedback he gave me was, nothing changes if you change nothing. Um, what we tend to do on a consistent basis, and what I've heard from some mentees of mine as well, is we come with problems without solutions. If you are not willing to address those problems head on and have a plan for one, when you experience them, midway through, and how you're going to succeed post, you are literally going to be stuck. And if you decide and make that attempt to be able to change those things for yourself, you will definitely be able to get out of those challenges. And it's something that's always stuck with me and something I've always run with. Nothing changes if you change nothing. So I'll take that in three ways. And it's a long time coming, right? As young kids, we try to think about how do we get to our goal? And we all have this goal, whether it's money, whether it's getting, for those that ultimately are for broken homes, how do I get in the right situation? How do I get to a place of love? How do I get in the right spiritual mindset that I may need to be in? For me, it's been thinking about it from a standpoint of professional development, personal development, and being the best family man I can be. As it relates to being a made man, I think it was when I first met my daughter, when she was born, is understanding that I needed to make some changes to be the true father that I always thought I should be, to emulate my father, who's been a great man in my life, my uncle, who's also shown me quite a bit, my brothers as well. And I've worked to be a made man in that way, to ensure that I'm giving her the life lessons to build on a legacy. To be able to do that and empower your children and see them take those life lessons and apply them in their own way has been one of the proudest accomplishments of my life, and I think that's helped me to be a made man in that sense. Professionally, is actually going after my goals, having a plan on a consistent basis and reaching out to individuals who I wanted to learn more about with, not being scared to do that. And not being scared to jump when the opportunities came up. That's one thing that people get stuck in, right? You think you're going to get either a tap on the shoulder because of things that you're doing consistently, and you don't take the time to ask the questions that are necessary or raise your hand for those opportunities. The thing that's helped me to succeed professionally is taking those chances, making those jumps, etc. My personal development, as well as the experiences that come into play, and realizing that money isn't going to get it for me within that standpoint. It's goals, it's things that I know that I want to do to give me the experiences in life at the end of the day that's going to matter to impact my family, to impact my corporate and professional well-being, and really to keep myself balanced and level load on how to make all these things work. If you have a plan to address those key things, you will die a happy person. And that's the way I've always lived it that way. The made man perspective, I think those are the things that matter. Well, that's a fantastic question. Understand the need to understand the details. There are certain individuals, when you tie into things that you may do on a consistent basis, whether it's major projects that may come in your way, in whatever way it may, is being able to understand all the elements that flow through that you need to get a handle on and understand how you got from point A to point B. We tend to lose that view of trying to get from start to finish without enjoying either the journey along the way and understanding how we solve for challenges as they came up. And what I understood early on is I needed to get a better handle on those details. It took me years to get there. It took me a lot of failures to get there as well. But what I also had to acknowledge in the end was being able to prioritize and understand those devil in the details factors. I couldn't have gotten where I am today without reaching out and developing the right networks of mentors that eventually I trusted to give me the necessary advice, whether it be life lessons, whether it be in the professional environment, whether it be just helping me to clear my mind and things that I needed to vent. You can get that in a couple of different ways, but one of the easiest places to start off with is reaching out to somebody that you've admired or somebody you think that has that stuff together. You've seen it proactively done, and asking them, just simply asking them, how did you do X? And think about it in the sense of how it can help you to grow in whatever way you may need. is understanding how to prioritize what the big rock issues are. What are the biggest things in the way, and how can I put a plan in place to attack those things? But not be so focused on the big rocks that you let the little pieces trickle in, because those fill up spaces quickly and really get you off track faster than you can imagine. You have to have the right plan, you have to have the right team, you have to have the right mentality to be able to let things go and delegate where you may need to really address these big issues that come into play. So there are a couple of things that that we are doing right now, and I'm a part of a few groups in this area. One of the things that really is a passion point of mine is volunteerism and giving back in the communities in which I live and work. I think it's important for anybody who has done something with themselves to a certain level that you don't miss that opportunity to help those along the way. That you can see. We've all been there. We've gotten to this place for a reason, and it's our responsibility to ensure that we help others that can come up down that line. And somebody told me an interesting story that really resonated with me and why that was important. Is just helping one person out is one person that you helped out. You can look at a problem and say there are thousands of things happening right now. Why are you focused, and how do you think you can make a change? Because that one person is why this matters. The things I'm doing in the community right now, we have a Gentlemen's Roundtable initiative I'm a founding member of within the Charlotte area. It's focused on men's issues. We're going to be expanding out to women's issues as well. Looking at other volunteer opportunities within Charlotte, there are several organizations that we're trying to connect with. But starting out with youth and helping them to make the right first impression. We're doing some things in that particular space. Volunteering with some things in the YMCA community. Focus around health and wellness is another thing that's a passion point of mine. But the biggest thing for me is, because I've made it to a certain level relative to my goal, to my vision board, I'm now realizing it's time for me to give back in that particular space. So I'm taking on mentees. There's things I'm doing in the community for me, my wife, and my child are participating in. And I'm ensuring that my child also is taking this stuff on as she goes. She's about to enter college, and there's things that she's a part of as well, directly because of the things that we as a family have done together. I think it's important, and it is a good feeling when you're able to go down that path. So, as an honoree, I'm really honored and excited about accepting this nomination that came up. I read up about the Made Men and what ultimately Made Men is doing in the communities, and I really wanted to be a part of this after I learned more about it. And what I wanted to do is just acknowledge the partners and supporters, the Made Men Foundation, my company, Wells Fargo, the National Urban League, Miller Coors, Ciroc, United Nations, and Upskill Magazine. And thank you for bringing this good work to Charlotte. It's well needed within the communities that we deal with on a consistent basis, and I see great things coming up from this. What I want to do is really impart to those. Please join us on November 29th at 6 p.m. at the Piper Glen Country Club. There are a couple of things that will be going on that day that are going to benefit those within our community, including suit drives and a few other things that are in play that I think will really help out those that are in the community that need our help. And we're looking forward to having you join us.